Hey guys, welcome back to Beyond Travel Check-ins with Saida.
And sometimes Jermaine.
Today we're going to be talking about how much does a trip to Kenya actually cost. Today we want to talk about like if you're just coming on a trip, what your budget kind of needs to look like, because that's the big thing. Americans kind of think coming to Kenya is expensive, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Coming to Africa, period, right?
yeah, I mean, it's not super cheap now. Don't fool yourself, but it's doable.
Yes, and so we're going to help you figure out how to do it on your budget. So the first thing we're going to talk about is direct flights versus connecting flights. And so we're going to do our flights based on like a 3-month to 12-month kind of period, so you can kind of figure out. So of course, the
12 months,
the farther out they book, the better prices they'll get, right?
Of course, it saves you some hundreds.
Yes. So direct flights, some of the benefits. What are some of the benefits of taking a direct flight?
You just get there faster, that's all. I mean, that's the main one to me. And you don't have to get off the plane to, all these layovers and stuff like that. And, well, you don't have to check your bags anymore once you do that. But it's just less hassle, I guess. Only thing is you're just on a plane, especially if you're coming to Kenya. That's like a 15-hour flight straight. I mean, but you will get here about 7-8 hours faster.
Yeah, so it's definitely convenient for a direct flight. But if you don't like being on a plane for 15 hours straight, which I don't really prefer it, then maybe taking like doing like a connecting flight is better. And that's really what me and Jermaine does. But if you're going to take a direct flight, you can fly probably about 3 different ways. It's going to be either economy, premium economy, or business class. And so we're going to share the average cost for a round trip ticket from U.S. to Nairobi. And what did we find for? You
said this is direct, right?
Yes, this is direct.
Okay, the only one I know too is the one from JFK to Nairobi on Kenyan Airways. I don't know any others.
Right. So what's the economy flight going to look like in terms of price?
Well, you got 2 different ones. You got the 3 months, you got the 12 months. So the 3 months is going to be a little more expensive, of course, because you're
short time
frame. So that's probably going to run you about $1,500, to be honest with you.
Right.
The other way, if you give yourself some time, you probably can get one for $900 if you play your cards right.
On economy?
On economy, it'll be 9. It's a range, right?
Yeah.
Nothing's exact. So probably about 9 to 12 or 13 is probably a fair price.
Yeah. So the farther out you book, the better off you're going to be in terms of price. And then we're going to talk about premium economy, which is around that $1,500 to $2,500 range. So if you book within the next like 3 months, you're probably going to be on the range of the $2,500. If you push it out to maybe December, I know a lot of people from the U.S. come to the continent in December. It's going to be around $1,500. And then what about business class? So you can sleep 15 hours in business class for how much? Now tell them business class. You're laying down flat, and you're sleeping nice and comfortably. You have meals, like pretty much. Usually there's a chef. They have nice meals. The restrooms are nice. They're cleaner. Everything is better in business class.
The business class is nice, but I ain't gonna lie, it's expensive.
It is.
Right?
So for a business class direct flight ticket, what do we find the price was?
If you just like 3 months, probably about $5,000. About
$5,000.
Yeah, you do a year, it's probably about 35, 38, all the way up to about $5,000.
Right. So depending on,
you can pay more actually.
Yeah.
More than $5,000.
Depending on which airline you fly with, right?
Yeah.
You get on that Emirates and.
Yeah, Qatar and all that. You got the different ones. There's
got all the gold trim in there. Got the doors that close, Hollywood lights, vanity lights.
And you got first class too, just a step above business class. But this is the thing, right? The people who have any credit card points and miles, especially if you in the West, that's what I do. Because ain't no way I'm paying $5,000 to come. That's $10,000 for 24 hours.
So there are definitely ways you can save money on these flights by using points and miles.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So let's talk about the connecting flights. Those were the direct flights. And Jermaine and I typically do connecting flights. One, because we like it. Connecting flights allows us to leave from one point, stop in another point for an extended period of time, couple of hours.
Right.
And then continue our flight on from there to our next destination. And it allows us to use that time in the middle To visit some cities, because we did that with Amsterdam, right?
Yeah, but to be honest with you, I would only recommend how we do it for experienced travelers,
Yes.
because we might take a flight there and stay a day or two and continue.
Right.
I mean, you can't book your average ticket like that. That's for more experienced people to do.
Yes.
I would, if you're just not used to flying like that, I would just do your normal ticket,
Yes.
whether it be round trip or one way. Just
Right.
book it like straight up.
Yeah, so for connecting flights, they're typically cheaper, but they do have a layover. But like Jermaine was, like we said, we don't mind layovers. And the common stops are like in Europe or Middle East. We've stopped in Germany. We've stopped in Amsterdam. We've been in Paris. And we've been in Turkey.
Yeah, we actually stopped doing layovers. We just booked straight there and booked to
Yes,
the
we
next
book
city.
straight to the country in Europe or the Middle East, and then we catch another flight.
Because it's not really more expensive if you do it that way. If you're watching the tickets, you can't just go ahead and start booking. Then you're gonna pay more money. But
One time we did book directly from here to Nairobi, but we had a long layover in Amsterdam, and we just went out. It was around breakfast time. We got to Amsterdam, so we went out and we had breakfast. Well, we meant to go out and have breakfast, but it was actually too early. The stores wasn't open.
That was a long layover. It's like 8 hours though. So
but we got to go and see Amsterdam. We got our passport stamped for Amsterdam, so we can check that off the list. We saw the canals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So if you're doing a connecting flight, the average cost for economy flights are around what would you say, Jermaine?
For which one? The connecting?
Yeah, if they're gonna fly economy and they're gonna do that flight like we were just talking about when we flew from New York, we flew from JFK to Amsterdam, and then from Amsterdam to Nairobi.
I mean, the flights are really about the same price, right? If depending on how you do it, 3 months or 12 months or whatever in between. So economy is probably going to be about the same, 900 to 1200 if you do it in advance.
Yes.
Right. And
you
premium
do about
economy.
12 months in advance, about $900.
Premium economy is about the same. What the range was, like 1,500 to about 2,500, something like that. Whatever. The range was.
So we did find one for December, premium economy, for $1,050. When we looked today, we found one for December for $1,050. But then if you booked for March, it's $2,300. So it just depends on how much time you have. So if you know coming to Nairobi is something that you want to do, you definitely want to start booking your tickets kind of in advance.
And you can actually find cheaper airlines too, but this is the thing. When I find on those cheaper airlines, you can go on YouTube, they got a bunch of bad reviews from people, and I don't use airlines that have bad reviews, just to be honest with you.
Right.
Bad reviews within reason.
So you can find cheaper flights on different airlines, but you get what you pay for, because Jermaine and I have taken one time a cheaper airline because the price was cheaper, but it was horrible because when our ticket changed within the ticketing system, the people on the ground at the airport was not able to make accommodations. They didn't see the changes. So they were just like, oh, well.
You're stuck.
Yeah, we're stuck. And their system was so outdated. They were still using that machine that prints out tickets. They didn't have like a computer they could go to and see the updates.
With the little perforated things on the side,
that
stick your paper in and
with the dots.
Yeah,
so they had that. We had to call the airline, and even the airline people were telling them that yes, the flight was changed.
We had to run to the airplane. It took like 4 hours. We got there 4 hours in advance, and we had to run to the flight.
Last minute, and then the flight didn't even take off on time. So you got to understand, read your reviews, watch a lot of YouTube videos on these flights. So, and then if you're going to take a connecting flight business class, from what we looked at, if you book around March, so 3 months from now, from the time of this video, it was about $5,000 for a business class ticket with a connecting flight, and then it was $3,800 if you waited until December, if you were able to book your ticket in December.
Again, we've flown business class, but only using my points.
Yeah, so we do fly business class, and
Plus
I know
taxes.
we did a video on the last business class flight we took.
Right.
And some people say, oh, you guys are rich. No, not really. We are just rich in wisdom and rich in knowledge. And so what we do is we leverage points and miles to our advantage when we travel.
Use your system, especially people in the West. You got everybody doesn't have access to this thing. So if you got access to them in the West, that's what I use all my points for, really, flights.
Yeah. So let's just break down the differences between economy, premium, economy, and business class, because we tested out premium economy the last time we flew. So when it comes to economy flights, their flights range between $900 and $1,500 if you're not using any points, any miles, or anything like that, right? So the pros of flying economy is that they're affordable. There are a lot of airline options. They're decent for short flights if you're a short person. But if you're tall like Jermaine,
about 5 hours is about my limit.
Yeah, in an economy seat.
Yeah, because if you, like, I'm 6'2", right? I'm not super tall, but if you like my height and above, anything over 5 hours, man, those knees, especially if you're a little older too, those seats are up against your knees for, especially coming to Kenya, that's like total flight time is probably like 17, 18 hours if
It's
you don't
a
fly
long
direct.
flight.
Yeah, man. But if you're younger, you could do it.
Yeah, if you're young, or I mean, if your budget doesn't allow for premium economy or business class.
I've done it before.
Listen, when the first time we flew to Kenya, we flew economy, and then the next time we flew business, and I said I'm never going back to economy. It's just
for that long.
It's just on a long flight like that. Listen, I'm 47, Jermaine's 41, and let me tell you, like, our knees ain't what they used to be.
No.
To be sitting in a certain position for such a long period of time.
And it's easier for you than it is me. Much easier. You got a whole nother foot.
It is. My knees are never touching the back of the seat, so I do have space. But sitting in a certain position all day and then just having to constantly, I mean, you can get up and walk around a bit, but not so much in economy.
Yeah.
Whereas in business class, you have more space to walk around.
Or premium economy.
Yeah, or premium economy. You do have more space to walk around.
And
you can get up and walk around. In economy, you kind of like stuck almost.
And when we say we're not doing it anymore, what it is I'll just stay put until I can save up, I have enough points or whatever. So it's not like I could just, boom, I'm just getting on this plane today. Right? You just got to stay within your budget.
So what are some of the other cons of economy? I know less leg room. What about limited baggage? Is it different when checking baggage between economy and business class or economy?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like business economy, you normally get an extra check bag, I think it is, and sometimes the allowance, the weight allowance is even a little bit more.
Because we've gotten 75-pound weight allowance one time when we were traveling to Kenya.
Yeah,
it's typically 50 pounds.
I think we had status then.
So. Well, okay, so that didn't come with the flight. It was
I don't think so. I think that was a status thing and the amount of flights you were taking, that kind of thing.
Okay, so one of the other cons is, would it be longer check-in lines?
It can be sometimes, depending on like when you fly. You flying out 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock or whatever in the evening. The lines are always longer, right? But if you're flying early in the morning, especially from a airport that's not like even JFK early in the morning, sometimes not that busy.
Yeah, which is surprising. They've gotten a lot better with the airport.
Yeah, or JFK or LaGuardia.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the lines are going to be longer just regardless. Like business class, usually sometimes
they have like priority,
premium economy too. You go priority and go through there real fast.
So that's another thing. So a benefit of premium economy. So now we're moving on from economy flights to premium economy, because I know you probably some people who don't fly frequently or fly internationally, they may wonder what's the difference. So with premium economy, you get more leg room on the seats.
Yeah.
There's usually a priority line for boarding.
Right.
And then also the food is actually better.
The food seems a little bit better, and my main thing is I can lie, especially a long flight, you can lie down a little bit more. Like, okay, economy is like just recline. Straight up almost a little bit, but business is all the way back.
Yes, you lie flat.
And premium is probably
like a recliner.
Yeah, it was like 45 degrees, something like that maybe.
Yes, and the seats are softer than in economy. And then it's more roomier. You get your own little booth. You get a large television screen, remote control.
Yeah.
Food and beverages on demand. You have more storage space.
And it's better for your legs.
And you get a little toiletry bag so you can kind of like relax. Your eye mask, earplugs, toothbrush, that sort of thing. And then as far as like Jermaine was saying, so with business class, the seats lie flat. You also get like lounge access. So if you have a stop in between your flight from your beginning destination to Nairobi, if you have to stop in, say, Turkey or
anywhere,
you can go in a lounge. A lot of times you can shower in there. delicious food in there. You can sit, lay down, relax, work, whatever you have to do. Yeah, so it's definitely good. So those are flights. Next travel expense when you're traveling to Kenya is going to be visa or ETA. It's ETA.
I mean, ETA, especially we do the tourists right now, right? There was around 30, I think I told it was like $33, $35, something like that.
$33.90.
Yeah. So that, you just need one coming. You don't need one leaving. So that's a small expense.
Right. So you have your flight, now you have your ETA. Next thing is going to be your accommodations, and we broke it down between budget accommodations, mid-range accommodations, and luxury. So budget accommodations can range about $10 to $40 per night, and that's going to be like a hostel or a guest house. And then mid-range is going to be your Airbnbs and your 3 to 4 star hotels,
And
which
I
are
think
around.
that's the most people, right? Probably going to fall within that range, that mid-range.
Yes, most of Americans traveling to Kenya are going to fall between the mid-range, which is usually $50 to $150 a night, and it's usually an Airbnb or 3 to 4 star hotel, right?
Right. Americans or whoever else, usually Westerners, I guess.
Yeah, and what would be an example of a 3 or 4 star hotel here in Nairobi?
Like a 3, I know, say like a Hilton or
Okay.
even these.
I've seen the Radisson here.
Radisson, I think even the new Hyatts
When
coming.
those Hyatts open up.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of them. That's where most of the hotels fall within that range anyway. So it's something you definitely can live with, right? Right, and be comfortable.
Right. And then you have your luxury accommodations, which are going to be between $200 and $600 per night. They're going to be the 5-star hotels and resorts. But they're going to be cheaper if you have hotel points. And what hotels here would be considered like a 5-star hotel?
I think this one is, right? I think it's 4
So
or 5.
the Hyatt Regency, Westlands, the
JW
JW Marriott would be Kempinski.
Right? They got a few more, but yeah.
So those are going to be like the 5-star hotels. But again, they're cheaper if you have hotel points.
Not Kempinski. I don't know.
No,
if you can do
Kempinski.
that. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. So let's talk about the cost for your transportation. So when you get to Kenya, you have the option of taking matatus, which is going to be on the most affordable end.
Right.
They're going to be like 50 cents to $2 per ride. And matatus are just the local buses. And then what about, you can take Uber and you can take Bolt, right?
Yeah, that's probably going to be what most people kind of fall within when they come, just to be honest with you.
And that'll probably run you about $3 to $15 a day. No, about...
Unless you're going across all the way from like Westlands to the airport every day, yeah, you probably more likely to be $3 to $5
per day.
Yeah.
And then you have car rentals. If you want to have a private vehicle, those will run you about $40 to $100 per day. And what about food, Jermaine? So there are 3 different kinds of ways people can eat. The first one we haven't done. As far as like street food goes.
Nah.
So you can do street food and you can do local food. Jermaine and I do some local food restaurants. And that ranges about, if you do street food, it's about $2 per meal.
I would assume. I ain't never done it.
Well, we have some friends that have done street food, and it's probably about $2 or $3. And then what do we kind of pay for our meals? Like, what's one meal for you? I think like I got a pizza yesterday. How much was my pizza? Was it about $9, $10?
Probably that's one in probably 10, 11 range. That particular pizza we got.
Yeah.
Right. That's a nice decent pizza. But you can just, if you want fast food, you can get it for $5. Sometimes you get like a nice restaurant on Uber Eats, right, for one person, $5 to $7.
Yeah. And then you'll have your mid-range dining, which would be about $10 to $30 per meal. And that's if you want to go out and you want to like get a steak and some shrimp and all this kind of stuff. And then you have fine dining, like if you want to go somewhere, like Jermaine said, Kempinski's Hotel, or there's a lot of different restaurants around.
Yeah, which we don't really do.
Yeah, we don't really do it like that.
I like good food, not expensive food.
And then you have your activities and excursions. So a lot of people who come and visit Kenya, they're going to want to do some fun things, and some of the things are the national park. That's like what a lot of people do. And so Nairobi National Park, the last time we checked, was about $43 per person. And that's the one right here in Nairobi. And you can go see the animals and the wildlife. You can see the elephants and gazelles and all of that. I think they have lions and everything over there. There's also the Giraffe Center, which we haven't been to yet.
No, we haven't done hardly anything. Seems
I
like
know
it.
we've been we got to stop
Lately.
saying we're busy, but we need to get out and do some things.
No, we've been to this last one, the Mara.
And then the Masai Mara, that's going to be on the most expensive end.
We've been there twice, right?
Yeah, we've been to the Masai Mara, and it typically is about, I think right now it's about $250 to enter the park. But if you actually want to stay in the park, it's about $1,000 and up. For you to stay. What?
That is crazy. But yeah, I think you could find cheaper.
Yeah.
Than $1,000, but
it depends on the lodging you choose. There are a lot of
pay.
lodging and resorts out there.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, so it just depends. It just depends. You can find something cheaper than $1,000, but between $250 to $1,000 to stay at the park. The next one is travel insurance, which you definitely don't want to come here without, right?
Yeah, we don't, especially somebody I would think to be like, I'm 51, right?
Yep, you 51.
So, yeah, I'm definitely need some kind of insurance. If you anywhere close to that range, I would say bite the bullet and pay. Like for me, even though we're 3.5 years apart, I got to pay like $60 more a month than you do.
So if you're coming for a short-term trip, like 14 days, 15 days, 17 days, 30 days, you definitely want to get travel insurance. We have a link to it down in the description box. And it's going to run you probably around $100 to $200 with the company that we use, that we have linked below.
And it's more like nomadic insurance versus like travel insurance that covers your planes and stuff like that. This is more for your sickness.
This is more for like injuries and stuff like that, which can definitely happen if you get sick while you're here or something like that. You also want to budget money for souvenirs and shopping. And on the low end for souvenirs, you can budget around maybe $20, $25, but on the high end, probably $100.
Depending on where you go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you go, you might have to pay some of the Mzungo prices if you don't know the right spots.
Yeah.
For us, we went Christmas shopping for everybody. We didn't pay hardly anything.
I think we probably paid $30, $40 for everything.
A bunch of stuff.
For a bunch of stuff. But the thing is, right, when you start going to like a lot of the souvenir shops along the way to the Masai Mara, they are going to run up the prices. I mean, I was going to get a dress and the girl was charging me $75 for the dress. And I was just like, no ma'am.
Any of these, not just towards the mall, towards any of these outside places that tourists go, you're gonna pay tourist prices.
Yeah.
I mean, you can negotiate further down, but me,
But they really start the prices really, really high in the tourist souvenirs places.
Yeah, see, we like to be around local people anyway. So.
But these are people who are visiting, so
yeah,
they may not have
if
it
you're
in.
visiting here, yeah, just go and pay that $75 for the dress.
And then for tips and miscellaneous expenses, probably budget around $50 to $100. Like if you want to tip your staff at the hotel, or you have somebody wash your clothes at the hotel, because they will. Some hotels, they'll offer to wash your clothes. Or if you want to get a massage at a hotel, something like that, you do want to have a little bit of extra money in your budget. Now, if you guys are thinking about coming to Kenya, make sure you click the link in our description and you can talk with Jermaine and I about any personal questions that you may have about your trip or about relocating to Kenya. So let's talk about the different budget ranges for different travelers. So we have the budget traveler. So if somebody's a budget traveler, Jermaine, and they're planning a 7-day trip, how much would you say they should budget for a 7-day trip? And then what amount of time do we recommend somebody spend coming to Nairobi, to Kenya?
Well, I'll start with that one first. I recommend like 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
If you just booking, right, it's probably be about 15 to 100 to 2,500 for budget, right?
Yeah.
If you don't know how to
you don't know how to find any deals,
right.
If you're not a good planner, you don't know how to plan ahead and plan 12 months to 15 months out.
That's not us. We deal finders. So.
Yes, we're deal finders.
Yeah, and so that, yeah. But if you're not a deal finder, you just want to come have a good time, yeah, 15 to 2,500
on a budget, and you'll get to do some free or low cost attractions. Now, you're not going out to tomorrow, most likely, unless that might be the like only big thing you do. But yeah.
Right, if that's the only big thing you do,
then you've done it.
Yeah, you can do that.
It's nice. You'll go home saying you had a great experience.
And this is including your flight, right?
Right.
Okay.
Because it's breaking down an economy flight with a layover, budget hotel or hostel, public transportation or Uber, street food and affordable restaurants, and free or low cost attractions.
Of course, your flight on either one of these categories is going to be your most expensive thing.
Yes.
Unless you on the higher end of the lodging, I guess.
Yeah, unless you do higher end lodging. So for a mid-range traveler for a 7-day trip, And this, like we said, includes your flights, your lodging, your food, getting around, safaris, national parks, guided tour. For a 7-day trip, it's going to run you about $3,000 to $5,000 if you don't, right? If you don't know anybody, you don't know what companies to work with, you don't look ahead,
you
don't
just
have
do
any
everything
points and
online.
miles.
Yeah, you just booking. Yeah, 3 to 5 be fair price.
Yeah, that's what no deals. That's the no frills. That's the Mazungu price.
I mean, that's what it is.
Yes. And then if you're wanting to have just like a luxury trip, say you're coming for your 50th birthday or you're coming for your 30th anniversary and you just want to go all out, it's going to be about over $6,000 for a 7-day trip. Like if you just want to do it, you want to do a luxury safari?
Yeah.
Like you in the safari truck with just you and your spouse?
Right.
Y'all gonna eat your meal at the safari camp outside with the giraffes and the elephants, all of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm just be honest with you. Most of this stuff we naming, that's for some of y'all, but not for me. I ain't really doing it like that. I'm looking for deals everywhere I go, but this just give you a range.
Right. If you want a private chauffeur taking you down to the Maasai, you ain't taking no Matatu. You're not doing a group trip. No, it's just you and your spouse.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just letting you know it could be expensive, but this is a place of negotiation, right?
Yes.
And a place of you knowing somebody. You can cut some of these prices in half. Now you can't hardly cut that flight in half. You can't really do that.
No.
You can well, unless you got points, you can.
Well, yes.
But the other stuff when you get here, if you know somebody, yeah, you can cut these prices dramatically.
So Jermaine, how far in advance should someone book their flights?
When you know you want to come, book it then, because the more notice you have, the cheaper your flights is going to be.
You have that flexibility.
Yeah.
You don't have to just take the price you see.
Yeah.
You can wait.
Yeah, you can wait and see if the prices drop. But I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do.
So Jermaine, is premium economy worth the extra cost, and when is it worth the extra cost?
Again, I use points. So I guess if you got it right, yeah, I think so. As long as it's not going to kill your budget. Mm-hmm. If it's going to kill your budget, I just got to grin and bear it and deal with those. Especially going back home, you're going to deal with some jet lag.
Yeah.
Coming, you're so excited that you don't really deal with the jet lag, but going back, you're gonna have it if you don't do premium or business. At least I did. But so if you got it, it's worth it. But if your budget's a little bit tighter, and if that's gonna strain it, just go ahead and do the economy. You'll have a good time regardless.
Yes, and hey guys, don't forget to like this video for the algorithm. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you enjoy our content. And if you have any questions, drop them down in the comment section below. And are there any hidden costs that we should be looking out for, like maybe international ATM fees?
Yeah, definitely that. If you don't have a card that you can kind of take some of those things off. The biggest is probably them cheaper airlines, like the added baggage fees and all these other fees on top of that. That's why I say I don't like to deal with it. I like a reputable. I mean, they're reputable, but I like to know what I'm getting.
So let us know in the comments, guys. Are you a budget traveler, a mid-range traveler, or a luxury traveler? And let us know if this video was helpful to you, and let us know what part was helpful to you in mapping out your budget for your trip to Kenya. And we will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.